Hello everyone, hope you're all well, good, and hopefully you can hear me a bit better. I'm trying to figure out the audio issues. I'm just a quiet person anyway, but yeah, just trying to get the best mic positions, levels and stuff for some of my videos. So yeah, hope you can hear me okay. I guess today it's gonna be August wrap up, but I only read 2 books. I only finished 2 books. So always reading little bits of here and there. I only finished 2 books in August, so probably just to have a wee chat about other stuff in life too. But yeah, biggest news first off in little personal life aside kind of thing, is I got a new job. Where it's been a bit kind of a crazy past week actually. I just applied for it on the Thursday, and I was interviewed last Tuesday, and the interview was about 15 minutes, and then about an hour later they phoned me to not offer me the job that I applied for, but actually one that was slightly above the one I applied for, and more of a, it's kind of the same job but has a bit more of a supervisory role. And so yeah, I just quit my current job that day just to make sure I had the 2 weeks, and so I could start the new job ASAP. I was already supposed to take vacation next week, so ended up that today was my last day, and yeah, so it was a bit of a crazy week, and I actually had a very nice last couple of days. Been a lot of people I work with now very nice about me leaving, very warm, and just kind of told me how much they appreciate my work and stuff, which is quite nice. It's that, it's not always obvious what your work colleagues think of you when you're actually working with them, and so it was nice to have a bit of a warm send off, especially as I'd only been working there for 11 months, and I probably had as nice a send off as I did when I quit my job of 10 years back in the UK. So, and I didn't even really quit that. I suppose I just took a sabbatical that I never returned from. But yeah, no, it was nice. It was a nice week. But yeah, this new job is it's still manual labor, and it's still agricultural production kind of stuff. I'm more on the production side as to opposed to shipping. I just previously worked shipping for an egg manufacturer, and now I'm gonna work for a company that makes cattle feed and pesticide and fertilizer. But yeah, it's interesting. The biggest benefit is that I can walk to work. It's literally just around the corner on my dog walking route. That's pretty much how I found out about them, and I can walk to work instead of having to drive 50 minutes, which is really difficult as I don't have my driver's license yet, and so it involves my wife being an absolute saint and coming to get me, taking me to and coming to get me every day. So yeah, this is a huge life change, and I'm very excited, very happy, and very excited to have this new job. And yeah, it's been quite the day. So yeah, so that's the biggest news. Still been feeling a bit weird about being here. My parents and sisters were supposed to be here this week. I think they were due to come last week, and they would have still been here this week. But because of everything that's going on, they cancelled it, and probably coming next week. Not next week, next year. Yeah, and so kind of been a bit weirded out about me being here in Canada and my family being in the UK and a lot of friends and stuff. And I haven't really been that active on social media for a while now, apart from YouTube. And so kind of the contact with my friends and family has been a little... Actually, contact with my family's not been so bad because I'm with a WhatsApp group, but contact with my friends back in the UK has been a bit off, and been feeling a bit bad about that, but also kind of missing the UK a little bit, but still very glad to be in Canada, still very much love my life here, especially now that I've got this new job. Yeah, it was kind of weird. It's been a strange time to be. I don't know how many of you are not living in the country that you were born and raised, and have significant amount of people in that you left. But I think there is a lot that you just don't realize until you do it. But yeah, no, I mean, if you are in the same situation, I'd like to hear from you below, and talk about it. I think it is quite different, especially as probably most of us envisioned a world that we could just go visit. Like, air travel has become so normalized. God, even in my lifetime, air travel has been something that only kind of middle class and the super rich kind of did regularly, to something that everyone could just afford and have as kind of a part of their life, and especially transatlantic air travel has become very affordable in the past decade, 20 years. It's become very, very affordable. So now I'm not sure what's going on. At the moment, I think Canada's pretty much shut to the entire world. There's obviously essential travel requirements. I know immediate family members, so my parents could come anytime, as long as they stay for 15 days or more, and they quarantine for the first 2 weeks. So it's completely shut, but in terms of tourism, it is. And I'd feel weird about going to visit. Like, if something happened and I needed to be back in the UK, I would go, but just to visit, I would feel weird about it. Just because it feels like, yeah, it's nice to see people, but it feels unnecessary in the great scheme of things. So I wouldn't want to put anyone at unnecessary risk. But yeah, it's weird. It's just weird. And I've been thinking about it a lot, I guess, and been kind of going down some memory lane and stuff. But it's generally been good. And I'm looking forward to my week of holiday. Spend a bit of time with this guy, and have some quality time with my wife. And there's like a ton of jobs around the house that I've been trying to do, and stuff. Kind of probably celebrate our anniversary properly. Our anniversary was in July, late July, and but we've been so busy we didn't really get a chance to do anything super nice. So maybe we'll have a little adventure. Do have a nice little big dog walk somewhere. And hopefully I'll get like a ton of reading done. I hope to read more books this week than I did in the whole of August. But anyway, I should probably talk about the books I read in August. Oh, actually, just one more thing. I did my channel recommendations, and I think I recommended about 9 channels, but there was one glaring mistake that someone I completely overlooked, mainly just because she hasn't posted for a while, and it was just one of those ones that I hadn't watched her in August, so that video was mainly about channel recommendations of people I'd really been watching in August, but I feel pretty bad about it. But anyway, the channel is Books with Shy. She's just it's a really good channel, and it just feels very her, which is really what I look for in a YouTube channel. I essentially pretty much everyone I follow and watch is someone that I could see myself being friends with in real life. Not to sound too creepy or anything, but yeah, I just honesty and passion is the things that I value very much, and she has them in noodles. And one of my favorite videos of hers is the best book recommendations, because it's just so many great books that she loves, and it's quite diverse, and a lot of it is very much on people's big experience. Especially, it's a lot of these books of oppressed people as well, which is something I tend to read a lot of. So there's a couple of books that deal with the Holocaust. I can't remember the others, but in another video she just talked, I think, her July wrap up, which she just posted because she's had a lot of stuff going on and hasn't really posted much. But that's okay. Who cares? There's no time frame. There's no time frame for BookTube. Just we're all supportive. So, but anyway, she talks about the book The Factory Girl, which is a fiction book that kind of highlights the Uyghur people in China, and I think that's very important. I think when it comes to China, especially, it feels quite monolith. Wait, people. There isn't really. No, you don't hear a lot of people talk about the many types of peoples and ethnic groups that make up China. It's because it's a dynasty, really. Even though it's a People's Republic now, the borders are still pretty much the same as the Chinese dynasty, and dynasties tend to conquer and subvert people of all ethnic groups, and a lot of them just get forgotten about, and their struggles and plights are just not heard. And so it's good when books come out that can highlight that, and sad to say it's good when fiction books do that, particularly because probably most readers are readers of fiction. And so yeah, just anyway, great channel, great recommendations. Something ridiculous like 16 subscribers. She needs way more. it's a great channel. I love it. Anyway, so that's my 10th channel recommendation. But anyway, should get on with books that I did read, and I actually only have one here. It's instantly recognizable. I read Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid, and a lot of people on BookTube have read this, and a lot more probably since it got onto the long list of the Book Prize. And I have thoughts about that. But mainly I really liked this book. I actually really enjoyed this book, and I think I'm probably the minority these days of people who really enjoyed the book. I'd heard about it long before. I think I heard about it before it was even a New York Times bestseller. But I've heard about it probably January this year. Heard an interview with the author, and she sounded great. She sounded great fun, very intelligent, great writer. Liked what she was kind of into. And it's a debut. I love reading debut novels. And yeah, I won't go too much into. I mean, I think everyone pretty much knows the opening scene. The opening scene has been pretty much the whole of the marketing of this book. All of the readings has been the opening scene. Pretty much anyone talking about the book has talked about the opening scene. And as great as the opening scene is, and as much as the opening scene does influence the entire book, it's also a little bit of an outlier from the whole of the book. But essentially, this book is a few things. It's a great book on nature of babysitting and what it means to be a babysitter in today's age and the gig economy and all that. It's also a great book on class and race in very real world terms, rather than anything that's like pious or polemical or appears to have solutions, or is talking about the greater society. This is this feels like it's more of a very personal novel. It talks about class and race and stuff, but more through characters, rather than through a greater societal movement. And then it's also just great because it's just power dynamics within relationships. It's power dynamics of boss to employee, and how that also shifts on the situation. Boyfriend, girlfriend, like a romantic relationship dynamic, friends dynamics. It's really good. It's really good at kind of showing how friends can kind of drift apart, kind of not be the same due to different socioeconomic circumstances, especially like if you met friends in, like, say, college, and then you all go out into the adult world, but then someone gets left behind in, like, the social economic sense, that it does create big rifts. And it's not necessarily like a rift as in drama, or just how people can just drift apart. or it can just be really hard for someone of lower socioeconomic means to attend things like birthday parties if they're being held at expensive clubs and restaurants and stuff, or how the people on the higher end of the socioeconomic scale, when it comes to the people on the poorer side, will take them to, or assume that like a club is their favorite, but it's not necessarily that person's favorite. It's just that they can afford that club because it does like dollar drink specials or whatever. I think it does a really good job of explaining, well, not explaining, just talking about that kind of thing. I think it is well written. There has been people talking about how a lot of the characters are underwritten, but for me, I think that is, it feels kind of a conscious decision to kind of underwrite certain characters, or I mean, you could even say that all of them are underwritten, but it kind of plays into the whole thing that a lot of these characters are so wrapped up in their own lives that they kind of don't even really acknowledge their other people as like real people. They kind of just see them in the frame that they want to see themselves. So Amira is the main character, and her boss never really gets to know her until this the first scene, which is like a racially charged, class charged confrontation in the supermarket. Her boss never really talks to her about anything, doesn't really try to get to know her at all, and then suddenly tries to get to know everything about her in really quite a creepy manner, and also quite a really pervasive wrong way for a boss too. So I think a lot of the underwriting of the characters is deliberate, and yeah, I just think also the other thing that I like about it, that I think a lot of people rubbed people the wrong way, is there's, I guess, a lot of coincidence and a lot of just a lot of the set pieces people thought were quite unrealistic, but I also think this was very deliberate, that Callie Reed's just kind of playing with what is the most awkward situation that these set of characters could be in, and it doesn't matter if it's necessarily believable. It's just kind of wanting to make you cringe for everybody, and kind of be like, oh my god, I can't believe they said that, or this is happening. But I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to seeing what Callie writes next. Thought it was very enjoyable, but also makes you think about a lot. There's a lot of questions. It's definitely not really trying to come up with answers or solve anything, but kind of just spotlighting a few things. And yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to recommend though, just because so many people have kind of been like, I hated this. I think it being nominated for the Book Along list is a shame. I think it's a kind of book that's probably more of a Costa Book Award if you know about British literary prizes. The Costa's more of a kind of general fiction, mass appeal kind of read. It's supposed to be like good literary books, but they also have mass appeal. And I feel like a lot of people aren't necessarily looking for like the same kind of high art kind of stuff they are in the Booker. So they're a little bit more forgiving for Costa Book Awards. But I think with the Booker knob, I think there is some literary gatekeeping kind of taking place, and I don't know if people are really hoping for like transcendental books, or books that are just like so moving, or have so much answers to give, or it's just like the best book written about something. And this isn't any of those. But that's okay, because it's not trying to be. That wasn't the intention. It's a good book. Not every book has to be the best book about whatever it's writing about. And it can still be a good book, or a great book. But anyway, I kind of rambling on a bit. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And then the other book I read, which I have no idea where it is. I brought it in from the car the other day, and it just vanished. I don't know where it's gone. But it's the third book in the Matt Helm series written by Nolan Hamilton. It's called The Removers, and basically most of the Matt Helm books are essentially the same book with different characters and evolving kind of Matt Helm's kind of thoughts on his role in society, his role as essentially a government himmer. And so the plot for The Removers is after a year of him coming back into service, his ex-wife calls him up to ask him to help with a kind of a local gang problem they're having in, I think it's Arizona or New Mexico, it's somewhere around that kind of deserty kind of agricultural area. And obviously it turns out that it also, so his boss urges him to check it out, and it also turns out that there is a government angle, and the kind of the enforcer of the gangland boss that is terrorizing his family, his ex-wife and kids, so the enforcer is a foreign agent, and I think he's Russian foreign agent, and so basically Matt Helm is assigned to figure out what's going on and to kill the foreign agent. So it's kind of one of those two birds, one stone kind of deals. Yeah, the Matt Helm series is really, really well written. Really perfect hybrid between hard-boiled and spy fiction. So that's like two of my favorite genres right there. It's not quite spy fiction, and most spy fiction is more intelligence based with action stuff, and these books are more contemplative with the killing. Like, he's essentially a hitman. Actually, the title Removers comes from him basically saying of his job is basically saying, if I was in a mob, if I was in a gang, I would be called an enforcer. But because I work for a shadow government agency, a good title for me is basically a remover. And yeah, they're just fantastic books. It was originally published in 1961, but it still kind of holds up. It has a lot. It still has a lot of misogyny and stuff of the time, but I feel like it hasn't really necessarily been exercised from society. Like, I still know a lot of people like this character, and he's not that misogynist. He's not really that misogynistic. The way he talks about women is quite it's a bit more respectful than say Ian Fleming. And so they're not too hard to read in that sense. But they are very much they're very much of their time as well. So not for everybody, but I enjoy them. And no, what much else to say? Hoping to read more in September. Hoping to have a celebratory book haul. I've got to get some work clothes. I was going to buy work clothes anyway, but definitely need them now because I'm going to be subject to cold weather, which what is this? I'm wearing a 2 today. It's like 16 in the house, which is quite different from like the 25 average we were getting in the summer. And it's probably I'm about a month and a half away from putting the heating on. So yeah, just kind of winter is coming. Fall is pretty much here, and winter is coming. So gotta get some work clothes. But I should have a little bit of money left over and get some more books. So yeah, need to get reading this week. But I hope to be back with another video. Hopefully this wasn't too quiet. I have no idea. Even if I try and set up a good mic situation, I tend to just talk even more quietly. So yeah, hope you're all good, and see you soon.